Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for today's Tech Tuesday presentation, Generate Better Project Awareness Using EPM Live Apps. And we do have a few logistics to cover before we get started. Everyone will be muted for the duration of today's presentation. However, should you have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat module, so please feel free to chat with me there. And this webinar is being recorded and will be distributed later today along with any of the PDU information. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and then turn it over to EPM Live Technical Trainer, Christina Williams.
Hello everybody, my name is Christina Williams. Today's topic is leveraging the new chart wizard and drill down dashboard reports. So in today's Technical Tuesday presentation, I'm going to show you how to create better visibility and insight into project status, specifically focusing on some of our new features, the HTML chart web part, and then one of our new apps available in the EPM Live App Marketplace, the drill down dashboard reports. So here are today's objectives. First, I will show you how simple it is to create your own charts and how you can add them to any page in EPM Live, and then use the chart wizard to set up those reports or set up those charts. I'll also show you how to modify and view the existing chart web parts within EPM Live. And then I'll switch over to more of the drill down dashboard reports. I'll show you how to verify if you already have that app installed in your EPM Live environment, and if you don't, how to go ahead and add it. I'll also show you how EPM Live data is mapped in our reporting solution and how the reports get organized. So I'll go and focus as well from an administrative perspective on the behind the scenes of how the data gets there for the reports. And then I'll also show you in general how users can use the dashboard reports and how they can launch them and view the information within them. So I'll be focusing both from an administrative perspective as well as then an end user perspective. And I'll be sure to note when I'm focusing from one scenario versus the other. So EPM Live has a custom web part, and it's called the HTML chart web part. You can add this chart web part to any site within, or to any page within your EPM Live site. And when you add that web part, you then see a cute little blue symbol here to start the chart web part wizard. So I'll show you how that works. So you can quickly design charts in a variety of different styles, different looks and feel as needed. Now these charts are using the HTML technology, whereas we had previous chart web parts that use the Silverlight technology. So these new ones are HTML charts. And these charts can show all various app data throughout your environment, so any sort of lists, library data, etc. As you can see here, we have a number of different styles of charts, so you can have different color schemes, you can have different styles, different formats, so a number of different options. And I'm going to show you by running through the wizard how you can set up what those options are and make your selections. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over and focus on the demo of the chart web parts. And so let me switch over here to my EPM Live environment. So here I'm logged into EPM Live. Now currently I'm logged in as a site collection administrator. So as I'm going through and modifying my environment, such as editing the page, adding web parts, configuring those web parts, you do need to be an administrator in the environment. So just keep that in mind from a permissions perspective. So you can add a web part to any page within your environment, or you can even create new web part pages if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and do my chart web part on one of our existing pages, and that's our reports page. So I can navigate there by selecting reports in the quick launch. So here I am on the reports page, and you can see here we have a number of existing chart web parts already. And the way you can know if the existing charts are using the new HTML chart web part, when you click on them here, you can right-click. If you have your normal internet options pop up, that means that's the new HTML chart. If it was using our other charting web part, which is the Silverlight, when you right-click it, the only thing that you would see there is the word Silverlight. So for your existing sites, that's how you can tell which chart and which type of chart you have there. Now I'm going to go ahead and add in a new chart web part. So to do so, I go to Edit My Page, I go to Site Actions drop-down, and then select Edit Page. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a web part here in the left column, or the left middle column. And then under Categories, I select EPM Live. Here's where we have all of our custom EPM Live, or most of our custom EPM Live web parts. And what we're specifically going to focus on is this HTML chart web part. Now we do still have the Silverlight chart web part available, and that's called charting. So that's how you can make sure you distinguish between the two. We're going to use HTML chart. And I'll confirm that I want to add it to this left section that I had selected here, and then click Add. So I'm going to go ahead and start my wizard. The first thing I need to select is a data source. So we can pull in data from all of our different lists and libraries, those different lists and library apps. So I need to select, well, which one is the source of the data. So I select the little dot menu here. And all of my various lists and library apps will appear. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first chart here using information. Let's say if we want to focus on what kind of issues we have in the system to alert us of maybe how many and when they're due. So I'm going to select my Issues List app as my data source. And then I have all these views that are, these are the corresponding views from the List app. Now the key thing here is that the importance of selecting a view is for the filtering. So for example, if you only wanted to focus on active issues and you wanted to automatically have closed issues filtered out, then you could select a view such as active issues, so that way it's just those current ones. Or if you want to include all issues so there's none filtered out, you can select that. Now if you're unsure of what is or isn't filtered out, what you can do is go into the view settings for any one of these views, and you can go to the filter section and see what data is filtered in or out. So for this example, I'm going to use all issues by status, which just means all issues are going to be shown from that view. And then click OK. So this gives me the data source. It's my Issues List app, and the view for filtering purposes is all issues by status. And I'll click Next to go to the next step in the wizard. Now here's where we start designing the chart itself. As you can see on the left-hand side, we have a number of different styles of charts. So we have area clustered, bar, etc. You can see we have a variety of different styles. We even have bubble charts, column charts, etc. So it gives you a good preview of what the chart is going to look like. And then on the right-hand side, the data that we enter, or the type of data that we select, changes based on what type of chart you've selected. Okay. So here for this example, I'm going to do an area chart. And for my aggregation type, I'm going to do a count. Let's say I want to know how many issues we have based on when they're due. So my aggregation type is going to be count. Excuse me. But you can see, based on the type of data that you'd want to do, you might choose one of your different aggregations. So for example, maybe you want to do a budget type chart. Well, then maybe your sum would be a selection. Or if you want to see, well, what's the average of % complete of all of our different projects? Maybe average would be your aggregation type. So for this example, we'll do count. And you can see with count as my aggregation, my only option now to select is, well, what type of data field are we counting? And we want to count by when the issue is due. So since we selected our data source as the Issues List app, all of the fields here are the fields that are available within our Issues List app. So now I've selected, I'm going to do a count based on when the issues are due. and then click Next. Now here we have some additional properties, additional options. So I can put in a chart title here, and please note that this will be different than my web part title. So you can choose to have one or both, but I'm going to go ahead and add it in. So I'll say Issues by Due. And then we have our color palette options. So you can select a color 1 or 2 is a variety of colors, or if you want them all within a color scheme. So let's say color 2 here. And then our legend position. So if we want the legend telling us what our fields are telling us, and we do want that left, top, right, or bottom, for example. We'll say let's do this on the bottom for now. Now here we have the options to show grid lines. The grid lines, as you can kind of see here in the background, it shows that's an example where they're showing. You can choose to have those there or not. Also whether or not you want your axis labels. And then if you want your legend to show. Now of course, in order to have your legend show here on the bottom, you have to also check the box to show the legend. So now that I'm done going through the additional properties for my chart, I'll go ahead and click Save. And now I have my new chart added to my page. Here we can see the title. We can see I have 2 that are overdue. I have 5 that are due this month, 1 due next week, and then 1 also due this week. Now let's say we have some existing charts, or maybe you've gone in and done the wizard and you've created a chart, and now you realize you might want to maybe make some changes or modify some of the existing web parts. It's pretty easy. So since I'm already in edit mode, I can simply select one of my different charts, let's say number of projects by manager. I select the web part settings drop down and then click Edit Web Part. And so now here on the right-hand side, I have my web part settings. Now these settings are basically taking all the various settings that were selected through the wizard, and now you can come back in and make modifications. So here we see my data source is the list project center, and the filtering view is executive summary. Here I have my chart type as donut. I could quickly change this. Let's say, for example, I'm going to do this as a pie chart. So it looks similar to my other chart that I have on there. And what I'm currently counting is my project manager as my aggregation type, or excuse me, as my count from the aggregation type, but I could count by something else as well. And then again, here we have the option for the chart title. Now currently this chart already has the web part title showing number of projects by manager, so the chart itself title is blank. So here's where you would have the web part title as opposed to the chart title. And you can choose to do one versus the other or both, as well as then the color selection. And here we have the x-axis label showing. Maybe on this one I'd rather have the chart, or excuse me, the legend on the top. And when I'm done making my changes, I can click Apply, see how the changes are reflected, and keep working. And I can see that, yep, I like those changes. My legend is now on the top, and the style has changed to be a pie chart. And then I'll go ahead and click OK. And so that's how we can not only add new chart web parts to any page, we can also modify the existing chart web parts on any page within EPM Live. And when I'm all done editing that page, I go ahead and click Stop Editing. So now I'll go ahead and switch back over to my slide here, and we will go ahead and return and now start focusing on the drill down dashboard reports. So the drill down dashboard reports are available as an app within the EPM Live App Marketplace. And again, adding an app is something that the site collection administrator would be the one to do. So you want to make sure you have the site collection administrator permissions on your environment, and you can navigate to your app, navigate to the EPM Live App Marketplace and verify, and you can add in that app. So You can always scroll down in the app marketplace. What I like to do is use our search feature because it makes it just that much quicker to get the apps that we want. So you can search for either project, drill, and dashboards or just reports, and it'll pop up as well. And so that's what it would look like. You'd select it and then install it. I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. So when you're actually launching the drill down dashboard reports, first you have what's called the parent report. And this is really a summary report. So on here, you have a number of different indicators. So for example, your budget status, schedule status, work status, and issue status. And these are all showing you the colored scale from red to green based on what the value and the average of that budget, schedule, work status, etc. indicators are. But what's the cool thing about this report is that you can actually select any one of these scales here. It'll then drill you into the specifics. So you can get to the details of, well, why is our budget status green or not green? Or why are we in the red on schedule status, for example? Our work dashboard, which helps clarify the work status. And then our issue dashboard, which helps clarify what our issue status is. And all of this data are pulled in via these SSRS reports, which are also called SQL Server Reporting Services reports. And I'll show you how we work with the EPM Live reporting solution to get this data here. So with that, I'll go ahead and switch back to my EPM Live site again. So I have two different sites here. The one I'm going to show you where we were just doing our chart web part. Because I'm the site collection administrator on this environment, I can first look to see, well, do we already have the app installed in my environment? So to do so, I'll go to my Site Actions drop-down menu and go to Site Settings. And here under the Configuration heading, we have the link for Manage Apps. Now I can see we already have Project Drill and Dashboards installed. This was installed in my environment already. But let's say, for example, you come into your Manage Apps page and you don't see this app installed. Well, you can easily just go ahead and install the app. There's a couple ways you can install an app. One is right here, you can select Install Application. But if you're not already on this page, you could also do it from your Community drop-down and click Add App. Both navigate you to the App Marketplace. And like I said, I like to use the search feature, so I'll go ahead and search reports. And you can see here we have that second option, Project Drill and Dashboards. So I'll go ahead and select it. And just like any of the apps in our app marketplace, we have some different information available to you before you install the app, such as an overview, a number of screenshots, and some details about the features, requirements, etc. So to install it, you would just click this Get It Now button. And since I navigated to the app marketplace via my site collection, via that install application link, it knows the source from where I was coming, meaning it knew which site collection I was coming from. So it already recognizes we already have this app installed. So at this point, I'm not going to continue going further. But if you didn't already have it installed, it would then allow you to select the community where you want to install it, click Next, and continue through that installation process of the app. And if you have any questions further about installing apps into your environment, we have plenty of resources available in our training documentation, as well as even right here in the app marketplace, a nice video that shows you those step by step as well. So now that I know I have the app already installed, or I've already gone through and installed it if needed, now I can actually now look at how the reports are organized into my environment once the app is installed. So what actually happens when you install that app? So next I'm going to go ahead and look at our report library. So to get to the report library, again, I'll go to my Site Actions drop-down menu and then Site Settings. And here we have a section in our Site Settings page called Enterprise Reporting. So I select here my report library. And our reports are organized into different folders. So EPM Live TL, which stands for EPM Live Top Level. Since we're in a single site architecture, this one single site is our top level site, so they're in that folder. And then they're put into this projects folder. Now the beauty about this solution is that you can definitely configure this to organize your reports into a different structure or whatever organization makes most sense for your business needs. So we have them organized by issues, tasks, projects, and then resources. And then when we expand the projects folder, you can see there's a folder here for drill and dashboards. Other reports are organized in other ways as well. So as an administrator, you can come in and reorganize your reports and then put them into different folders or what have you, and then that will be reflected for your end users. So I select drill and dashboards, and then that's where my reports are. Now when this app installs, 5 reports actually get installed. So you have the drill in project dashboard, which is that parent report, and then you have each of the 4 drill in reports. So there's 5 reports in total. And then from that parent report, you can actually drill into each of these other 4. And then also as an administrator, you can work with either modifying the reports if you have report writing skills, or you can update any sort of information in terms of reorganizing them, as I said, or choosing on which pages you want to show the reports and whatnot as well. So now we understand, well, what happens when you install the app? These reports get added into your report library. Well, now we want to look at, well, how does data get populated into the reports themselves? So again, as part of the reporting solution, we want to figure out what is the behind the scenes of how data is actually flowing within the environment. So I'll go ahead back to my Site Actions drop-down menu, and then back to Site Settings again. And then right here within my Enterprise Reporting section, right above Report Library, I have Reporting Settings. Now the way that the reporting solution works is that for every EPM Live site collection, you have a reporting database. This is also referred to as the EPM Live Content Database. And so all the different lists and library apps that get mapped to the database, all of the data from within those lists and libraries or in those apps then get mapped to the database, and you can then report on that data. So for example, we can see we have our Project Center list app that's been mapped, and I can go in and see all the information within that list app that is getting mapped. So I'll select my drop-down here for Project Center, and then select Edit. And this shows me all the fields that are mapped to the reporting database, meaning these are all the fields on which I can report for my organization. So we see fields such as budget, budget status, all of our various fields as well, issue status, etc. So these are some of the fields we're going to be looking at within the report itself. I'll go ahead and go back to my reporting settings here. And there's a number of options that you can do here in terms of scheduling your refresh all and looking at the status and keeping on top of your reporting. But with the way the system is set up, it's pretty easy and pretty straightforward. All you have to do is map the list app, and most of it's set up for you. So now that we know how our reports are organized within our report library, and we know how information is getting mapped between the list app itself and then into the reporting database, now we can go ahead and launch the report and see how our users can interact with the report when they're running it. So I'm going to go ahead and actually switch into another site here. And I'm going to go to my Reports tab, or Reports link in the Quick Launch. And you can see this site is organized a little bit differently, but conceptually it has the same reports. This app has already been installed here. So it's under here in this section of a folder here called Reporting Services Reports. So I can expand that. And you'll notice here that these folders are organized in the exact same way as they were in the report library. So I expand Projects, and then we have that folder for Drill In Dashboards. So I expand that and then select the Drill In Project Dashboard. So here I can select one or many projects that I want to report on, and I'll go ahead and select all projects. And then click Apply. And here I can see that for all of my projects selected, I have my different indicators letting me know how I'm doing on this report, or how I'm doing in my environment overall. So now I can go ahead and drill down into the specifics of why is my schedule status. I'm in the green, but I'm kind of getting close to yellow. So let's see what that looks like. And we can see that in general, the indicator here is based off of this indicator column called schedule status. But I can go ahead and open up one of these. So let's say budget status, for example. All I have to do is click the little colored scale. And then now I can set specifics of what type of data do I want to look at based on time frame. So here I have all those same projects selected. I still have them all selected. And I can change my period start, my period end. Let's say, for example, I want to do an audit of all of last year. So I'm going to look at January 12th through December 12th, or excuse me, January 2012 through December 2012, and then click Apply. And now I can see here my budget versus my actuals. Same with my benefit versus actual costs. I can go down further and I can see my expense versus my capital. Now after I'm done looking through the different periods, I can always navigate back to my parent report by selecting this little blue arrow that says go back to the parent. And then I can drill into another one, say for example issue status. And I'm going to go ahead and, just like the other one, I'm going to look at an audit of all of last year, of 2012. And then click Apply. And then we see the different information in terms of what issues we had by status, by priority, what overdue issues we have, etc. Now, another thing your end users can do is rather than starting at this top parent report, they could always open up the specific drill down reports as well. So from the report library, I could always go directly into that project issues dashboard. I don't have to go through the drill down option. So I have two options as an end user for how I want to launch my reports. Okay, so that takes us through the chart wizard and the drill down dashboard reports features. So before we wrap up, I would like to introduce you to EPM Live University if you aren't already familiar with it. EPM Live University is our online learning management system where you and your team can easily access all of EPM Live's both end user and site collection administrator training materials and all of our training curriculum. Within the EPM Live University, you can access all of our user guides, our self-paced courses, and we even have weekly live instructor-led Q&A sessions. Now, EPM Live University is available to all customers who are part of our Premier Success program. Now, to find out more about EPM Live University, you can visit our EPM Live training page on our EPM Live website, epmlive.com, and then or talk to your account manager. And one announcement, we are very excited to let you know that EPM Live is hosting our first ever user conference, which is called Impact 2013. The conference will be held in San Diego, California at the world-renowned Hotel del Coronado. Now please join us. It's a 2-day event packed with learning and networking opportunities. We have special speakers, lots of great features and fun for you. Speaking of fun, we're actually going to be having a special evening cruise around San Diego Bay. Now we also are offering an additional pre-conference training day. You won't want to miss that as well. So go to our website. You can sign up online for Impact 2013. You do want to sign up as soon as possible to make sure you get the best pricing available. And then remember, when you sign up, it'll ask you who referred you, so go ahead and tell them Christina Williams sent you. And we look forward to seeing you there at the user conference in November. Well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time today. Hope you learned a lot, and we look forward to talking to you soon.